Hey everybody. So Love and Marriage Huntsville season 5 episode 4 came on last night. All right, a low down dirty shade. So let me just tell you off the bat. I enjoy reality TV certain shows to an extent. Um Actually, it's good for me to just kind of watch and enjoy. I'm going to tell you what I am tired of, and which is not new in terms of the reality TV genre. This kind of playing with the audience. This is always, oh yeah, this part is coming, this part is coming. And it's not just OWN, it's not just a show, it's VH1, it's Bravo, and they will have this lead up for 3 or 4 weeks to an episode event that you know we're all tuning in for. If you have to do that in order to make the show interesting, I'm gonna need you to reassess the way a show is operating. I don't want to hear no more about Mel showing up to this event or seeing a clip of it and her addressing Miss Wanda. And here we've been waiting. This is the 4th episode. So we're going to have to wait 5 weeks for that. If they get to it next week, I don't like that. I don't like that playing with the audience. There should be enough footage of events, or you need to do some recasting, and that's to everybody. But anyway, so this episode once again was just basic stuff that we could have done without. I would call it a filler episode, but it's starting to feel like a filler season. So, Tisha and Marceau, we're watching them go up to check out Scott Manor. This, for people who are part of that brand that own HGTV connection under some huge corporate branch, I'm going to just need them to quit talking about this dream house and then talk about how commercial building is their thing, and they just cannot get it together. They keep going, showing us a plot of land. You could have taken us, we don't know where you are in Alabama, but we could have believed you were anywhere in Alabama, anywhere in my home state of Georgia, anywhere in Mississippi, and that just looks like regular old country rural land. I'm going to need y'all to do more with it. But anyway, they go up there checking out what is about to be, whatever. But they're arguing about Miss Wanda's truck and Marceau being willing to invest, particularly their money as a married couple, which you have to, I guess, discuss. And Tisha's thing is, you don't want to support my mother, but Martell has lied on them, saying he's cheated with like 20 women, and Marceau is willing to work with him again. And Tisha's like, well, why don't you have that same willingness and forgiveness with my mother? Or forgiveness with my mother. My thing is, neither one of them people are trustworthy. Neither one of them are. And honestly, I found this whole conversation boring because they continue to have the same conversation over and over again. Tisha and Marceau really don't have no problems. Tisha annoys me because Tisha will engage her mother and other people talking about Marceau and the way their marriage operates. Tisha seems fine with it until somebody says something. If that's how you want to operate in your marriage, go ahead and do that. And quit letting other people get in the middle of it. But also, they could have cut this. And by they, I mean the editors, whoever's over there working their own, whoever. Okay? Cut it. This was boring. We've heard about this season after season after season. Miss Wanda is still going to cut up. Tisha is not going to draw boundaries. And Marceau is just going to keep reading her. And now her truck has a battery. I'm just over it. But he does tease Tisha about, well, you going on a date with a known cheater. and you still bringing up this old stuff because she's going to talk to Martell about going into business with them because she really doesn't feel comfortable. Understandable, but I'm tired of hearing about it. Next, we get on to Martell Holt talking to Melanika, who he is clearly trying to troll Mel with by saying she was the original Mel, whatever. And talks about how she's done wonders for his brand. Honestly, I found that to be a joke. I had to laugh. And this is not a reflection on Melanika. I'm sure whatever she does, she's good at it. But rebranding Martell Holt as he continues to do things like dating Sheree from the Real Housewives of Atlanta publicly, it just gives all kinds of thirst. He's still bad mouthing his ex-wife Melody on Instagram. And he's one of those double speakers. And that's what I don't like. Yeah, that's true. I cheated. Yeah, I'm taking responsibility. But Mel does this. Mel does that. Mel, and he's still bad mouthing her right now with this scene. He didn't use that to rebrand himself. Oh, it's been like a year since I built a house. Well, last time we checked, You didn't have a builder's license, so you were always just like tangentially connected with it because of Mel. All right, but anyway, he's talking to Melanika about on some schoolgirl gossip, what Destiny said passed on to him from a conversation she had with Kimmy about the conversation she had with Melody. Okay. And I appreciate Melanika's response because she kept it classy. And this is why I wasn't willing to go in on her like, oh, it's her fault that Martell's brand hasn't changed or whatever. No, Martell, you're a joke and you do things to harm yourself by trying to harm Mel and your family. Like, he really needs to work on himself, period. But I appreciate her response because she didn't feed into it. She was like, look, I don't have anything bad to say about Melody. She's never done anything to me negative. She didn't feed into it. Her concern was her marriage and the appearance of such and what her husband thinks of this working relationship, which I think is good. Keep it there, keep it cute, put the rest of it on mute. All right. So she also told a similar story as Mel, right? And once again, we're getting this. This is how one person tells it, and then there's tidbits that sound familiar. And she's telling a similar story, like the assistant and Martell flirting foolishness and all this other stuff. You know, the story didn't sound like it did not happen. And Melanika checked him. She was like, don't nobody want you. You out here cheating at babies. I'm like, ooh, your rebranding person is saying this about you? Martell, just hang it up. Just hang it up for a minute. Just go somewhere. But he can't. His ego won't allow it. So that whole scene was a read within itself. And that's what he get for bringing it up. He should have just left it alone. And so should Destiny. But she's so busy walking around butthurt that Mel isn't acting like her best friend. Moving on from that. Another scene that we could have done without. Okay. Mark, who may be the brother. I think he is the brother of Marceau and Maurice. He's not on this show. Mark and Van's relationship, Miss Van is Melody's mother. And her and Mel meeting up at her house, and they talked about the relationship that Miss Van and Mark had based on work or, friendship or dating, whatever it was. It's unclear. Her mother is not a main fixture in the show. Her business is not to be put on blast that way, but they keep doing that. And I find that really, really disrespectful. I do. And I also find it boring. We don't even know who the hell Mark is. Next. So she talks about how Martell, Miss Van talks about how Martell switched up on them at the reunion. And he knew better about this relationship. And he had been keeping that all these years. And essentially, whatever it was, he had. And I do believe that whatever he was saying around Mel and Van is different from what he said on the reunion. Why? Because I can't believe anything that comes out of Martell's mouth. I hope at some point he will start telling the truth enough for us to believe it. But he literally lies. In the words of Chris Rock, lies like a language. Like, I don't believe anything. But I also don't feel like Mel's mother should be put on a chopping block for being a grown woman doing whatever she was doing. And I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that disrespecting the people's mothers, particularly with a mother like her who knows how to behave. Miss Wanda messes with enough people to where you had to go, fair game. Miss Van is not bothering nobody like that. Next is boring. Stop bringing it up. He's not on the show. She is not a main character on the show. Leave it alone. So Martell and Tisha meet up so we can keep talking about the same thing. All right. They meet up at Black, their cigar lounge. At least Martell, not Martell. It's all these N names. Oh, can't somebody go by their middle name? And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Black. At least Tisha and Marceau own something, but never mind. I'm not gonna start there. So they meet up at Black and talk about how he's trying to buy back in the Scolt. Okay. So these two want to talk about Marceau and Maurice's brother, Mark, and Van. They start gossiping about that. Tisha, your mother stays in people's business. And not only does she stay in people's business, you defend her. That's why I'm bringing this up. You defend her behavior. But you think it's okay to go in about a relationship or not a relationship. What difference does it make? Your mother walking around TV, but she got a husband and a boyfriend. I think you need to leave mamas out of it. I really do. Now, I honestly don't know what to believe about it. And honestly, I don't care. Tell us what happened between Mark and Van, or don't. Done. Over it. Finished. It's whack. All right. So Tisha is talking about how they have this multi-million-dollar company. And she doesn't want anything to happen to that because of Martell. Now, Martell has proven, without saying it, Mel has proven, while not saying it, but just in seeing how their lives have developed economically since the divorce, that Mel knows how to make money and smart business decisions. Martell, after bragging to us season after season how he pulled her out of the classroom, which I find offensive as an educator, like he's doing her a favor, like that's the worst thing you can do, as if anybody in society has managed to do what they're doing, by and large, without teachers. I don't appreciate it. But anyway, so he's already proven that he doesn't have this acumen. But anyway, she's sitting up here talking about this multi-million-dollar company. I'm trying to figure out why they went from a townhome to living in a very basic house. And this is not to shade the house. This is to shade the appearance of the lifestyle people want you to think they have and the money they want you to think they're making based on how they're living. I'm not talking about cars, because cars depreciate in value, but homes appreciate. So y'all had this basic house with a porch. Y'all had a basic townhome. And we're talking about Huntsville, Alabama, by the way. That's also, we're not talking about a townhome in D.C. or a brownstone in New York. So why are y'all living like that? This is a multi-million-dollar company. Why hasn't Scott Manor been built? Y'all have 3 kids. Y'all do need space. I just don't, it's not making sense to me. And yes, there's a piece of me that goes, yep, you should watch your money. People should always live, and this is me talking. I feel like no matter what you have, you should always, and I learned this from an old preacher, learn to live on less. Because that's how you can save money and take care of yourself. But her words aren't matching these other things. It's not making sense, and the whole scene was whack. So Martell was like, what do you mean? I can take, in a confessional, I can take orders from a woman if need be. Well, if she owns majority stock, you're going to take orders from her anyway. And her being a woman shouldn't really make a difference. Hell, it seemed like Mel was the one giving the orders anyway because you didn't know what to do. Because otherwise you would still have it now. You see, when Destiny got divorced, she was able to rebuild her brand with Milani. Exactly. Or Madani, whatever it is. Milani's one of the kids' names. That's too many M names. All right. But Martell is stupid. Tisha's whack. The whole scene was whack. And I don't want to hear shit else about this 20 women comment. Don't hire his ass. Or Tisha, let it go and work with him. But whatever. Stop. STAHP. Stop. We're over it. Just stop. That's what I'm saying. They keep playing with the viewer. Why are we wasting time like this? All right. So was it me, or was Martell bringing up Mel, taking the kids to see Mel at the amphitheater, just a bunch of bullshit? I was like, wasn't that like last season at the beginning? You should. If you want to take your kids to support their mother, your ex-wife didn't do so. But I can't stand when nobody brags about doing things that are good. Like, Melody's not keeping those kids from him. She's not. She's not. Okay? Martell is reckless and he's a liar. He's mad at Mel for leaving him. He's mad at Mel for making him accountable for his behavior. And we could tell that from the first season when he was talking about, oh, well, what happened to us should have been in private. You should have kept us in our household. And there's her famous line. Well, you should have kept your penis in our house. But I'm just saying that's his game. And he keeps talking about her in the most negative ways. And the problem is this stuff will be on tape. And honestly, it may go out of like streaming services eventually and that kind of thing. But people can find what has been recorded. And have mercy on those kids, Lord. So all the gossiping Wanda does about Martell and his kids, and the gossiping he did with Destiny about what Mel had said, or based on what Kimmy said happened in a conversation with her and Mel. He didn't say shit about being Wanda being invited after she talked trash about your kids. Now, I'm not saying, and he did say in the confession, well, Mel said she was going to take care of that, so I'm going to let her do that. Now, granted, woman on woman, woman to woman is probably better. But let's not act like Martell has demonstrated that he's above that kind of behavior. Marcel doesn't get into it with women unnecessarily, particularly when it comes to Miss Wanda. He might be talking shit, but he don't lose his cool or that kind of thing. Martell cannot control himself. But my thing is, you're so busy trying to get back at Mel. You know she's upset with Wanda. And Destiny's supposed to have been your friend, your road dog. You don't say, your kids aren't important enough for you to have a conversation where you say, hey, I know this is business, but if I invited your ex-husband to an event and let him sell chicken, how would you feel? All right. And then Scott and Contessa from Married to Medicine show up. Like, how did they become friends? How did they know each other? It was just like, what the, huh? And quit act like they real celebrities. They're not. I didn't even watch Married to Medicine this season. Honestly, I'm kind of over a lot of this grown woman professional bickering. That's not about their actual profession. So anyway, they're not important. She was like, yeah, I'm happy. I bet you are. Because you hoping they'll bring in an audience that you don't have, Destiny. But next. And then we get to the end. I'm like, why do they keep teasing us with this fight? Another week of some foolishness, a waste. Like, it's so disrespectful to the viewer. Like I said, either y'all need to do casting switches, changing up, bring Mark on. You know, whatever it takes to make it interesting. But don't keep playing with us. Just stop. Just stop. Because I like to be able to enjoy reality TV that doesn't, once again, a lot of this stuff is mindless, but I'm a thinker, and I just don't like being played with like that. But anyway, so that was Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 4, Episode 5, A Lowdown Dirty Shade. Oh, because we didn't talk about the picture. Van put the Teen Wife shirt up with Tisha in it, and then they had a back and forth about what was shade and what wasn't. Okay, Martell was like, well, you know, that seemed nice to me. That was part of his gossiping session with Tisha. But anyway, all of it's a waste. It was whack. Anyway, I hope next week is more interesting. All right, see you guys later.